Welcome everybody and welcome to a new little segment, Prototype Moulds. Now, I have been in a lot of conversation with Diorama debris over different bits and pieces, and in the conversations came up and they asked me if I would be interested in looking at some new moulds they've got coming out. And not being silly, I said yes. And we've had some of these moulds turn up, and there's a 4 or 5 altogether. But we'll be looking at them one at a time and running through them, casting them and seeing what comes out. Now this one is of interest because this is a hollow concrete block mould. As you can see by the shape of it, it's the hollow block. Now Diorama Debris did say that there weren't much detailing on the inside because it's actually based on a real mould, but they have done some detailing on the inside, but they really would like an opinion on if it needs more and things like that. So that's what we're going to do. We'll actually be casting this. Now a concrete block has got quite a lot of texture on it. Simple reason is it's just the way it's made. Now the way a concrete block is made, if you don't know, is they cast it in a mould, no different to what we've got here, but it's normally a single mould like this because concrete blocks are used the world over, and they're used for the simple reason is you don't need to put them in a kiln, and these can actually be cured off in the sun, i.e. that's the reason why they're used in hot places. And all they do, they have a mould like this, one of these made of wood, and what they do, they use a mix called a dry mix, which is sand, cement and shingle. These items are all mixed together with a very small amount of water. Now when it's totally mixed, you can pick it up and it will fall through your fingers because it's that dry, but if you squeeze it in your hand, it will create a little round ball because it will hold itself together. Now that's the right consistency to actually make the blocks, and they very simply put this on the floor, the mould, the wooden mould. They fill it with the concrete, tamp it down, level the top, then slide the mould off the concrete, just leaving that shape, and then they put it down next to it and do another one, and they just keep making rows and rows and rows of concrete blocks that way, ready to be used in the building. And that is the biggest reason why when you go to places, abroad, a lot of the buildings are built using the concrete blocks because it's a very cheap and easy way of making building materials. So that's a quick rundown on how they're made. Probably bored the life out of you, but there we go. Now this is I'm going to start getting some casting done. I'm going to have to do a wet cast to start off to see what we actually get. Doing a dry cast is going to be very difficult, but if we do cast it in liquid plaster and we don't get the finish I think is good enough for a concrete block, then we'll have to look at an alternative of probably making a dry mix. I don't really want to go down that route for the simple reason is it's going to be a lot of mucking about to achieve that, and it would be a lot of mucking about for people who want to make these and make them pretty quick. So I'm hoping what Diorama Debris have done, they've done sufficient to make it a worthwhile mould to be put into production. So we go from here and we'll go off and get some cast, and I'll take you as well with me, and we'll run through how I'm casting it, what I'm using, taking them out the mould, and then we'll finally have a look at probably building a wall and doing some bits and pieces like that, and have a look to see what they look like. So we'll go across now and do some casting. Okay, welcome to the casting room, as my grandchildren call it. casting room. Right, we have the concrete block mould, and I'm just going to run through exactly the same as I do with other moulds. Start off with, we get it into the rinse aid. I'm going to do this exactly the same as any other mould to start off with, and then we'll work our way back. Have my plate, and now mix for this. The size of it, I think I'm going to start with 12 ml and work our way back. So 12 mils of water. It's 12. So 12 mils and 2:1 ratio. That's what's that? 20, 28 on my calculation. I've gone right. So 28 grams of casting powder. Spot on the mark. I'm going to be using Herculite 2, as it is a good all-round plaster and one of the better quality ones on the market, and he throws that all over the place. Drain the mould, give it a few taps, and onto the board. Now, I've been thinking about this, and I am going to put a little bit of black in, just to give us that grey effect. Because if we can sort out a way of weathering it without too much hassle, it will be pretty good to have a good base. So I'm just putting in just one little bit, just to make it a light grey at the moment, and we will go back with experiments later on. Right, that's all done. On with the vibrating table. That feels a little bit thick to me, but it is a little bit thick. Right, 12. We'll put an extra 2 mils of water in there, because that just seemed a little bit on the thick side. Now that's a little bit better. Still a little bit on the thick side, but there you go, we'll persevere. I think 12 mils is going to cut it, so what we'll do is we'll just fill half the mould up. So that was 12 mils, and we're still left with one side. So next one we'll go 14 mils of water, and that hopefully should be enough to totally fill the mould. We'll let that vibrate away for a little while. And excuse me while I do my washing up, I'm very domesticated. Smooth that around to make sure they're all full. Right, that's done. Right, well, I'll come back in a few seconds. We'll skim the top off, and we'll go from there. Okay, I messed the last one up. I've skimmed it off, just using my little float, nice and flat. So I will be knocking out quite a few cures so I can get a rough idea of how it's going to turn out, just ordinary casting. Then we'll have a look and we'll probably build a wall or something like that, see how they go together, and we'll run from there. Okay, we're giving it a bit of time, so let's have a little look to see what we've got. I don't know how I'm going to get these out, but we'll try. See some breakages going on here. Well, they are some magnificent little blocks. Absolutely gorgeous. Right, let's get them all out the mould and we'll go from there. It's going to be an individual takeout, I'm afraid to say. I'm not going to be able to do these all in one hit like bricks. Right, as you can see, I can get them out okay. I shall take the rest of these out and I shall come back again to you. Okay, we're back with these blocks. Now I've assembled them into part of a wall, and to be totally honest with you, I'm impressed. They look really good. As for this problem they thought they'd have about this texturing, this is wet poured and it has texturing, and I don't think you need any more than that, not at this scale anyway. But that's my opinion. I would like a little bit of feedback from people that are watching. What do you actually think? Because we could move on and try different techniques of moulding these, but I don't think you need any different technique. Now I'm just going to put you on pause and I'm going to rearrange and we'll have a look at them individually. Right, we're back with the individual parts. Now I really can't see anything wrong with these. They're absolutely they are beautiful, they really are. Now I've handled a lot of concrete blocks in my time and I feel the texturing on that is quite sufficient for this particular scale. I think if we go any more it's going to look it's going to look like it's just got big holes in it. But the actual parts are really well made. They come out the mould beautiful, as you saw. You have to take them out individually, but hey ho, that's the way it goes. So really I can't really say any more about these. Now it would be nice if you could give me just a little bit of feedback on it. Me personally, I'll be quite happy to use these on a diorama, which I think I'm going to do. I've actually got a Gulf War build I've entered in. Well, actually I haven't entered into it, I am actually part of it, and I am going to do a diorama build just as I'm part of the build, not to actually enter into the competition but to run with it. So I think I'm going to be using these in making some type of diorama, some sort of building, especially if you use the blocks and use some rebar coming through. I think you could get some really good effects. So that's it. So my wall's falling apart there already, but the great thing about it, it does look the part. It really does. And especially if you decide to blow a hole through there, you know, you're going to see all this bit inside, and then if you put some rebar, because they put quite a lot of rebar through these ones to make them solid, so you can have the rebar coming through as well, and that would look pretty cool. It really would look cool. So I'm impressed with them. Comments please, let me know if you think they are good enough for me to actually say to Diorama Debris, put them into production. If you don't think that, say, and also give me reasons why, and if there's not enough texture on it, we'll look at other ways of actually moulding them. But personally, I can't see a lot wrong with that. A wash and that real fine detail would actually come out, stand out. I might even do a little experiment. I'll finish this video and I'll put a wash on that, and I'll come back to you and we'll have a little look. Now, all I've done with that is given it an extremely light wash. As you can see, there's bits of glue where that's my mistake, and also I've just wiggled it around with the glue to get a cement joint. Nothing too difficult, and to me that looks like a very shabby built block wall somewhere in the hotter parts of the world. So all in all, I think, yeah, I don't think we need to do any type of mucking about by pouring with sand and things like that, because it just makes the whole moulding process just that a little bit more tedious, I think. But there again, the decision is down to you. Comments about it please, let me know, and if we need to push it a little bit further, well, we can do that. So thank you very much for watching this experiment, should I say, and hopefully we can actually sort of help Diorama Debris to actually produce some more moulds, more in the line of what we actually need as modelers. So thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next one.